When I was in the 7th grade, I had a pen pal from Ethiopia, and her name was Lisan Mamohera. For months, Lisan would write letters that I would exchange back and forth. And through the letters, she revealed to me how she'd have to walk 2 miles to the nearest water source and 3 miles to school each day. She lived in a brick and mud hut along with her 4 siblings, and she had aspirations to become a doctor. I was so inspired at such a young age because even through all the struggle, Lisan still somehow had so much hope for her future. And since then, I've become determined to helping young kids just like Lisan to have hope to achieve their dreams and overcome adversity. When I was a sophomore, the opportunity eventually came for me to travel to Africa for a community outreach program. I was beyond excited. But then, the entire world was struck by a global pandemic, and all forms of travel were banned. I was devastated, and throughout the pandemic, my mind pondered how I could still carry out my plan through the Genius Project. I became stuck in a pool of ideas that just couldn't form, until the perfect opportunity fell into my lap. It was the definition of right place, right time. One of my fellow neighbors, Ms. Chang, reached out to me and asked if I wanted to help kickstart a nonprofit geared towards supporting under-resourced and marginalized refugee communities from Somalia. Now, Somalia is a neighboring country to Ethiopia, where Lisan was from, so I immediately jumped at the opportunity. And as it turns out, hundreds and thousands of individuals have fled Somalia due to political instability, dangerous civil war, and food insecurity. San Diego County has, in fact, the largest refugee population in the state of California, with hundreds of young kids suffering just like Lisan. So I was determined in every way possible to help these kids and give them a better chance at starting their new life here in America. And so that's when my Genius Project was born. The nonprofit became better known as One Must. The name One Must stems from all the different facets one must do. One must work hard. One must be responsible. One must be kind. One must be the change they wish to see in the world. And so I work closely with Ms. Chang and other high schoolers in the area to help kickstart the nonprofit. Every weekend, I drive 30 miles southbound to City Heights, San Diego, and tutored about 5 girls in basic subjects such as reading comprehension and mathematics. And these girls were my absolute best friends. And eventually, it accumulated about 12 of us tutors, each tutoring a small group of kids, and the program began to grow. But aside from tutoring, we also focused on mentorship through sports and fun team-building activities. We'd play soccer, we'd make bracelets, build circuits, we'd take them on field trips to sports games or the beach. We even taught them how to swim. And it quickly became such a supportive and vibrant community that was making such a profound impact. But soon, challenges arose. I had about 70 kids on the waiting list to join our program, but unfortunately, not enough tutors. And I knew the profound impact of the Bobcat community and how much support I'd receive if I spread word here on campus. And so I created a club. And at the beginning of the year, I prepared for Club Rush and had 50 people sign up. Far more than I anticipated. And because I had accumulated so many more kids to tutor, I was able to welcome more kids from the waiting list. And to go from 10 tutors to 50 tutors was extremely rewarding. And I was able to help so many more kids. But aside from all of that, I really wanted to focus on getting more people involved and aware about what we were doing. And so I decided to build a website and an Instagram. And I helped organize fundraisers, I made flyers, I held monthly meetings for the club. I was doing everything right. And then I came to the realization that not everyone can drive down to San Diego every weekend and tutor. First of all, a lot of gas money. Second of all, high schoolers are often preoccupied with sports and other extracurriculars. And so that's when I came up with an idea about pen pals from my experience with Lisan. And it was an opportunity for people to still be involved in the program, even if they can't come out every weekend. And so I would pair each child with a fit mentor or tutor, and they'd write letters to each other that I'd exchange back and forth. And what was so great about this new addition to the program was that it allowed the kids to improve their reading and writing skills, but also create that personal connection to their pen pal. And so I eventually got about 12 pen pal writers, and still growing, and has become such a huge success. And throughout this entire Genius Project journey, I've made some amazing friendships. And I've also learned so much about the power of education. It is a luxury that we often do take for granted. But perhaps the most important lesson that I've learned is something that these kids taught me. And one Saturday, I went out and I asked each of the kids, I said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And these were some of the responses I got. And seeing all of their hopes and dreams and aspirations was really inspiring. And it reminded me to never lose hope. You see, hope is the pillar holding up our world. It's stronger than fear and doubt. It's that little voice in your head that says maybe, even when the entire world is telling you no. So if there's one thing that I think all of you should have for the rest of your life, let it be hope. Because hope will be the very thing that gets you through. Thank you.